speaker is Tex Christopher, to be followed by Virginia Morales.
All right. I'll let my actions speak louder than my words, but I do have a message for the city councilman today about your mayor and pro temp Ellen Cohen. This is from the Attorney General of Texas, Ken Paxton, which is over Sylvester Turner and Ellen Cohen. In summary, to the extent the city voluntarily release any of the submitted information to public, the city must release it. The city must release the complete report, which we've marked pursuant to Section 552.022 of the Government Code. The city must release the entirety of the court-billed document to the first requester, Tex Christopher, Section 552.022 of the Government Code. In response, you guys are hiding something, and you want those over 1,000 pages concealed. Yeah, smirk, because we're all smirking at you. What we have is the city's already demonstrated to choose to hide the fact that's known to have the sex offender towards children has been reading to the children in the Houston Public Library.
One second, Councilmember Lee.
Thank you, Mayor. Tex, have you received everything you asked for?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
They are stalling, and it's because the mayor and Ellen Cohen are hiding. And I like to sum it up in Mike Lasser's favorite words, what are y'all afraid of? Well, what are you afraid of, Sylvester Turner and Ellen Cohen? And that's very disheartening, because the state of Texas is greater than these two right here, and they need to submit unto the authority that is already spoken. We hope that the city would sit here and adhere to the Attorney General ruling, but the fact is that they would rather be sitting here and having this opportunity and put everybody in danger. I already warned you once. My whole team warned you once. We're giving you a chance today. You can offer us a public apology, and you can stop playing games, or you're going to wish that you had, because now, that's right, shake your head, or you're going to wish that you had, because we're going to go legal. And you're not afraid. Your whole attitude is, if you don't like it, sue us. Yeah, sit there and chuckle. You bury everything, but everything will come into light.
Your time has expired.
Motion to expire.
There you go.
We need a second.
Second.
So what we have is you guys are playing games.
One second. Who are we with? Who are y'all on?
I don't know. Are we still with me?
Are you finished, or are you with Kubash? Who are you?
Are we still with me?
Are you finished?
Okay. Well, I just have one more question for you, Tex.
We're
So of all the information that you asked for, how much of that information have you received?
Zero. They threw it back and saying, oh, we're only going to give you some, and that's not what the Attorney General has spoken. And then you guys won't even release that. Why? Because you're going to see that there's other sexual predators that the library did not do background checks on. And when Ellen Cohen said that it's not these men wearing clown makeup and dresses that we should be afraid of, that are perverted, and that they're rapists of children, but ministers.
I'm a bit confused, because all of us councilmen will receive an email from the legal department saying that you received everything you needed and the case was closed. This is not true?
This is not true. We have not received anything. Okay. And they have closed those records, and we're demanding that those records be released under the Attorney General's ruling.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Kubash.
Tex, I am a sitting city council member elected citywide by almost 110,000 voters in the city of Houston the last election. I have asked for these things. I have filed an open records request, motion to extend.
Second. The objection, Chair, is none.
And I haven't gotten it either. So, you know, I don't understand why we spend our city attorney's time trying to hide things. Just give us the records. I don't care if it's about this issue or any issue. Just give the records to the people. It's the people's records. You know, redact any Social Security numbers or things that have to be protected, and let it go. But we continue to do this. My brother Paul and Randall Callanan fought the city on the red light camera issue for emails for over 10 years, 8 to 10 years. They finally had to pay over $100,000, the city did, to these lawyers, and they got the records too. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why we're doing it.
I agree with you. And the fact is that we have 100 attorneys that are on the team, and there's some money for Proposition B. If we were to lose the whole attitude, if you don't like something, sue us. We'll go ahead and we're going to bury everything. But you guys ain't coming after me. You're going after God. You're going after God. You're battling God. Yes, you are. Hey, Sylvester Turner, you're a snake, and I'll tell you to your face that you're a snake.
Hold on, wait. Say what you said again. Say it again.
You heard me.
Say it again.
You heard me.
Why don't you say it again?
You're being what you're being, and you know it.
Why don't you just say what you just called me?
I'm protected by the freedom of speech.
Why don't you say it again?
Why don't you just release the records?
Okay, you're not.
Why don't you? You're not man up to keep the drag queens out.
You're not.
Point
bad.
of order.
1 second. You're not bad enough to say what you just said.
I'm very man enough.
I said bad enough.
Bad enough.
Say what you just called me again. Why don't you say it again?
You heard what I said. Go ahead and smile.
Why don't you say it in public again? Well, you're out of order. You're out of order. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I understand.
Amen, sister. Amen.
But
Bottom line is this: get these guys out of the library. Do something about it, right? Release the documents. That's all. Release the documents.
I appreciate that.
Release the documents.
But
I'm glad I struck a chord with you today because maybe we can put an end to this.
Councilmember,
We need a motion to
is there a motion to extend? Granted. No objection. Councilmember Knox, it's your person.
I had a question, but I forgot. No, Tex, we just take a breath. Let's calm down a minute. So you have requested some material. We have a memo that came around and indicated that your organization did receive some information, and you're saying that you haven't received anything at all.
Okay. I'm the one with the lawsuits, and nothing has been released to me, and we have called and asked.
Okay.
We have sent by our attorneys, and no response.
Okay. So what information have you asked for that you have not received?
Simply the release of the documents that are under order of Ken Paxton.
And those documents related to what?
Drag queen story time.
Okay. Emails.
Emails, everything that was put in writing. Everything.
And there's 1,000 pages, you think?
Well, easily well over, yeah. This thing's been going on for 18 months, and you got all these background checks and inviting all these guys to come and read to kids and organizing and structuring. Oh, yeah.
So
you get 18 months of communication.
So I'm still not clear. There was some material released to your organization?
None.
None.
No.
You have received nothing.
Zero.
Motion to extend.
I have a letter that I can send to every single one of you.
Any
So-
objection? Granted.
The information that we received from city legal then is not correct.
Once again, yes, sir, it's not correct. So if you can understand and give some leniency towards the frustration of the process.
Okay. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Councilmember Travis.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I just want to direct this to you because I don't want us to get all in this argument or fight, but why are we doing Drag Queen Story Hour? What's the purpose behind it? Because I don't see the purpose. In other words, why do we have one group that's coming in to read when we could just have people in normal attire come in to read?
This is a particular program that is done at the request of the patrons of this library. They come with their parents, and it's a story time. You may not like it, Councilmember Travis. Somebody else may have a different view. This is requested by the patrons, and it's also their right to request it.
Well, the reason I ask is because I got on the website, and it looked like there was federal money behind this, and it was there to gain the acceptance of the LGBTQ community. Okay. And that's what it said on their website. And my point is...
Motion to extend.
Move.
Been moved in second.
And so that would lend me to believe that it's not being requested by patrons. It's more of something being pushed down from the federal level.
No, Councilmember. It's been requested by the patrons. They come with their children.
And then who pays for this?
I'm sorry?
Where's the money come for this
I
program?
can't tell you where the money is. Not coming from the city of Houston.
So it's coming from the federal government.
No.
Well, then where's
it's
it
not.
coming from?
It's coming from the patrons, the parents. They
Who
come with
pays
their
HPD,
children.
the 20 police officers?
1 second.
Well, I'm just trying to figure this program out because there seems to be, and I get it. There's some people who like it, some people who don't like it.
Right,
There's a lot of people who don't like it.
And if they don't
and
like
I don't
it,
know
they don't
why
have the
we're
funding.
doing it, because if you're going to allow one group, then we should allow other groups. And I know there have been groups who've come forward who say they want to do Bible studies there in the library, and they have told me that they have not been allowed to do that. And so if we're going to allow parents or patrons to request something, then we need to be fair to the other side as well, and we need to have the people who request Bible studies be able to do Bible studies there.
Certainly can, but I'm not going to respond to people who come just to spew out this type of venom.
And I'm not asking you to respond to them. I'm asking you to respond to me, I guess.
Well, we
So
can
that's-
do that, but this is their time. You and I certainly can talk
All right,
about
well, we're going to pick this up later. Then. Thank you, Mayor.
it.
Thank you, Tex, for coming down.
Is there any objection to a motion to extend? You're not granted. Councilmember Stardy.
Mayor, I do have a question for you because I want to make sure that we have all the facts straight. And again, it comes from a point of public safety. I thought I heard it in all these conversations back and forth that there were background checks done, and that's a citywide policy. Is that correct?
There are background checks that are done, and there was an apology issued that the background.
No, I know,
background check
but
was
I want to
done.
make sure that that's factual.
That is factual, and that is the policy. Yes.
Okay, and so have we identified how many people have not had background checks across the entire city? You know, if this fell through the cracks here, did it fall through the cracks in other places?
I'm not aware.
Is there anyone that's done an audit?
I am not aware, Councilman Stardy.
Well, I'd rather not wait till something happens, is all I'm saying, because
Amen.
we have a lot of people out working with children and after-school programs and lunch programs and other things. So again, I'm not arguing this issue at this moment in time. All I'm asking from a public safety perspective, if this policy failed here, did it fail in other places? And so do we need to be proactive and make sure, do some spot checking and reiterate the policy with your departments? That's what I'm asking for.
Thank you. Is there any objection to the motion to extend? Okay. Thank you. No objection? Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Cohen.
Thank you. Councilmember, I'm not sure if I have the right answer. I know that the background checks were being done, and I don't know if the Drag Queen Story Hour is done at any other library than the one that we were talking about. I'm not sure. I have to check on that. But I also know the library admitted to making a mistake and said clearly that they had made a mistake. They hadn't completed the proper steps for the background checks. And I think And I understand that. And mistakes happen in everything we've done. All of us have been in business. We've approved. Councilmember, you've been in banking. I'm sure occasionally people slip through the cracks. But in this case, we particularly have concern because it involves the children. But again, I would remind everyone that no one is required to go to these, the Drag Queen Story Hours, that children come with their parents or an adult, that it is something that the community has asked for, that I think it's horrific. Motion to extend.
Any objection?
I think it's horrific that a pedophile slipped through the cracks, and no question about it. I think part of what the confusion is among some of the people that are here is something where they can't make the difference between pedophilia and the GLBTQ community. I think they get it confused. One has nothing to do with the other. Pedophiles are absolutely abhorrent to a civilized society. They should be penalized. They should be put in jail. They need to be kept away from children. No question about it. But the fact that one person slipped through the cracks does not mean that either the drag queen program or other programs, similar programs, shouldn't be allowed. And finally, my point that you keep bringing up, Mr. Christopher, was that I spent 18 years with the Houston Area Women's Center. I've spent a lot of time with survivors of domestic and sexual violence, particularly young children that were assaulted. And I'm telling you that the majority of pedophiles...
Any objection
Is that
to
a
motion to extend?
Motion to extend?
We'll grant it.
The majority of pedophiles are people that you know. They're people in your family. They're people that live next door to you. They are people that teach in your schools. They are people that are involved in the Cub Scouts, in religious organizations.
Drag queens.
That's who and what a pedophile is. So I just want to be very careful that we're not confusing the gay community with pedophiles. And by the way, I would mention that this program is a national program, not something that started here in Houston. So,
And my
thank you.
lawsuit's a federal lawsuit.
Councilmember Kubosh.
Thank you, Mayor. On December the 19th of last year is when this thing really got heated here in council, and I know that we were calling for these types of background checks and things, and it just got really heated. And I want to make sure that we follow the rules, that we protect our children. And I made a statement then, and I'll make it now. The fact that parents are asking for it, I was a child care administrator for many years, and all those children were in my children's home because of bad parenting. So, I don't think that should be the premise of why we do something, is because the parents are asking for it to take place, exposing children to adult entertainment. Thank you.
Any objection to a motion to extend? Hearing none, granted. Councilmember Stardick.
I just wanted to follow up on my conversation, Mayor. So you did take action, and you did, because this would be disciplinary action on the part of the employee that failed to do a background check, in my opinion. No matter what, I'm taking drag queen story time out of it. I'm taking anything, Bible time, I'm taking everything out of that, whatever the program is. Failure to do a background check when programming with small children, and the public comes with the trust that it's sanctioned and has gone through a process. So was there disciplinary action taken of some level? I have no knowledge of who it was, what level it was. I have no knowledge. So this is not picking on anyone. I just want to know for the public that there was some action taken, so that this will not happen again with this individual. And if so, if they do it again, they fail to do it again, did they understand its termination if it hasn't already taken place?
Yeah, right at this point, the program has been discontinued, but the person's name was not included on the list. That's why it was not done. And so, yes, they have taken, to the extent of returns, they're taking proper steps to make sure that anybody participating in the program, that their names are included on the list, so that proper background.
So those were your actions. That's what I needed to hear. I don't believe I've heard that. So thank you.
Okay. All right. So motion to extend. Any objection? Councilmember Travis.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate your comments that said that the program has been what was the right word? Discontinued. But I understand the paper. It's going to be continued again.
It may come back again.
So I have my concerns, and I follow up on Councilman Cohen's comments as well as Councilman Kubash's, because I find it ironic this week, of all weeks, that we had Barbara Streisand point out that children were taken to visit Michael Jackson in Neverland, and they enjoyed it, and that their parents took them there. Mm-hmm. And so we have now parents taking kids to the public library to listen to story time with a person who was a pedophile. And so we sit there and say, these are the parents who are doing this, and I'm thinking, that's fine, I guess, if you really want to put kids in that harm's way, but I don't want to do that, because not every parent apparently thinks things through. And so when I sat there and I thought about this, and I thought about the Barbara Streisand comments, of which she said Michael had his own sex needs, that disturbed me, because that could be applied to anybody. And I think that's the direction that some people in our society are going, and that disturbs me. So I just don't want our public libraries, and I don't want our city being involved in this. There are tens of thousands of people in this city that are capable of reading to these children and doing a good job of it. I just don't know why we're making a big deal of it with a specific community. So I leave it at that, but it disturbs me when somebody says, hey, the parents are taking you there. They took them to Neverland, and look what happened to them. So, all right.
Councilmember Kubash.
When you go into a public library, you have an expectation of safety. When you come into this building, you pass by police officers and security. There's an expectation of safety, and especially when it's been authorized by those in charge. So I would think that we need to bring this before our Public Safety Committee. A council member is over the committee. We need to bring this drag queen story time before the committee. We need to vet it, find out what it's all about, see if we can get child care professionals to come, child psychologists, and tell us what effects it might be to have children 2 to 10 years old exposed to adult entertainment. So when they brought up Miss Doubtfire, that was PG-13.
Thank you. I appreciate your recommendation, Councilman Kubash.
So my question is when are y'all going to release the documents?
Time is out. Thank you very much.
So we're just forced to go legal.
Thank
So we'll
you.
give you a chance.
The time is expired. Thank you very much.
Your time has expired. The next